Hello, my friends. Today is the day when we start the third topic of my channel is programming, software development, and how we can create different scripts, programs, optimization for your business, whatever. And the topic is programming tools. And right now you can see on my screen uh, are different tools like editor, IDE, and the third one will be iTerm. It's a terminal. Uh, yep. So like this. So these three tools which can be used for you like on the beginning of your journey and right now when you have, for example, 5, 10, or 10 plus years of experience. And let's start with the editor. So what it is, what's the difference between integrated development environment and just different types of editors. And let's start with the simple one. The simple one is just a simple editor. So for example, like you can see on my screen, it's Sublime. What it has, just usual stuff. You can change code, update code. It supports a lot of languages. For example, in the right hand corner, you can see a drop down with all possible languages for this editor. So, for example, in my case, I usually use JavaScript, Golang, and Ruby. And in the left sidebar, I have a dummy project which I have used for a while ago. And let's open package.json file. So you can see it that it's a text, but it's a little bit hard to read. But anyway, it has been detected as JSON, and that's it. That's everything what you need to know about just usual editor. So there are plenty of them, not plus plus, others. And what is the main difference between the usual editor and, as I mentioned before, integrated development environment, so IDE? In my case, it's RubyMine. I'm using this for Ruby project, Ruby on Rails, and this is one of JetBrains product. You can use other products like for JavaScript, for PHP, Golang, and Java. And in my case, it's Ruby, RubyMine. And the main difference here that you have a lot of integrated stuff supported. And if we go to Google and see what it is about, so development environment is a software application that provides comprehensive facilities to computer programmers for software development. And it consists of at least a source code editor, which we had in Sublime, and build of dimension tools and debugger. And let's start with the cool thing. So you can say, what's the difference? We can use both of them. And for example, in my case, RubyMine, you need to pay for this. You can see a lot of cool things there here. The same stuff you can find on Sublime. And in IDE, you have a terminal, different buttons to run a program, and you don't have the same stuff on Sublime out of the box. So what the cool thing here, for example, just the main difference that you can have here git control version, then you can parse your code by to-dos, or run a program, create configs, which will run your application instead of just go to terminal and write it here. So, and much more things. So if you want to have the same stuff in Sublime, in usual editor, you need to install a lot of additional packages or patches. It depends on your editor. And when I use editor, just a usual editor. So the first thing first, if you are a beginner, I would start at least a couple months and try to create a code with the usual editor, because it helps you learn, and it won't help you, for example, to finish your words or commas, and help you to complete your sentences or commas like it is for HTML, for example, when you write a tag. So because it's just a beginner of your journey, you need to understand how to write commas, just remind some of them, and that's how it works. And the second option, when I'm using an editor, when I need to work with huge files, just enormous, a text file which can be, the size of this text size can be 5-6 gigabytes, and usually editor has index, and when I try to open a huge file, it works much better than IDE, because it tries to apply all helpers, then parse the file, try to find analogy, and it takes a lot of your dynamic memory of your computer, and usually it's super difficult to work with large files. So in case was editor, it's super easy, and that's kind of it. If you want, for example, it has terminal, you can use specific packages to open or run, for example, your commands, run a server, run a script, run a cache validation, whatever. But the last cool thing, at least in my opinion, on editor, it's a search. For example, as it is in Sublime, it's super fast. If you have a huge project and you just need to make some small changes, you can just type it here, and here we are. So you can see the difference. But please check this out when we try to find the file, for example, echo. We can see the path to this file, and that's it. So it's a usual stuff. And last but not least, usually we try to find something there. For example, let's try to find this line. And if we want to do this in this specific folder, try to find in folder, find, that's how it looks. Every time when you try to find something new, for example, in this folder, find folder and add the same substring, you can see that the find result will be added or concatenated on one page, and that's it. So you can see the place, you can see the line in the code, you can see place, and you can jump to this file, so with double click. But you, for example, can't jump directly to the definition of this class. You will jump directly to the file, or just make some search here. So the search doesn't work super good. So that's why it's just small milliseconds or seconds, but when you spend for 10 hours straight in front of your computer and try to do cool things, so it's super important. Let's come back to the IDE and let's rock. So this is just usual Ruby on Rails projects, and I want to show you how I use this. And you can see there are a lot of folders, a lot of files there, and let's try to imagine if you want to find something important in the app folder under the not admin. I'm trying to find something deeper. Controller, let's try to imagine that you have a lot of things in concerns, and then deeper and deeper. You can spend for hours just driving and navigating through the project. So now, so let's use the search. So with double shift, for example, you can see already search. So you can do this for all classes, files, symbols, actions, and git. And usually I'm using only all, and let's find the file roads. Cool. You can see all options. Usually I'm using the first one. I can see the path. So it's completely the same as it is for editor. In our case, it's Sublime. let's dive there. Good, so nothing special, everything is here. Let's compare a search. For example, the roots file is in config folder. Let's find the substring in the config file, and usually how I do this, I'm using shortcuts. Guys, you need to know shortcuts of your IDE or editor. It improves your skills to do stuff really fast way. So for example, instead of just right click on config, then find believe me or not, I don't even know what's the button should be used to go there. Yeah, this one. Good. So usually what I'm doing, you can see a shortcut, Shift and F. Usually I'm just navigating or highlighting the folder, clicking Command Shift F, and that's it. I'm ready to find something in this folder, and that's it. So it's just milliseconds, but when you're doing this for 1,000 times a day, it's important. Let's try to find some substring. Cool. So, and here the difference. We can find the file. You can see that we can find by uppercase, match case, then by words or write regexp. So the same as it is for editor, you can see a path where the file is, and not super important, but I think it takes seconds or minutes to navigate and do some stuff. You can see the file already in the search. You can do a search in this window, and we have this class with command and left click of your mouse. You can go directly to this class or find this class or play with this and whatever. So we have request, we have active admin. So, and from the search, I go directly to the model. For example, you can see in my top sidebar that I can run different servers with the command. I can run it as usual way, and I can run it in debug way. So you know that I can put breakpoints, validate debug information, and the same thing is in Sublime, but it's a little bit difficult to set up to use it, and it doesn't look good as it is in a paid version of IDE. But anyway, let's go further. The fast search, it's what I need for my life. I'm driving through this application, for example, jobs controller. I can go down, I can go back. So usually, I don't remember a case when I used the left sidebar with my mouse, and usually it's when I don't know the project and I need to navigate through the folders and see the structure. But in terms of Ruby on Rails, I have been doing this for many years, 10 years. I know almost all files here. We can find schema. Good. If I want to drive a schema, you can see that it's in the DB folder. I want to find seeds file. It's in, can you see, DB seeders support file. Okay, so instead of just, let's check DB seeds support and double click. So instead of this, what I can do, just seeds and the wrong one. That's it. So it just, I don't know, a second or so. Good. Then what else? What I'm using on daily basis. With the command left click, I can just go deeper in definition of any file, any method. And so usually different editors, they have almost the same, but instead of just showing the same structure or whatever in the left sidebar, in my case, with the left click, I can just dive deeper. So with the command left click, that's it, I'm in the file. Or cool stuff. So when I highlight it, we have a refactor dropdown. So you have all these shortcuts, guys. Just remember that it's much easier to work when you know just some of them. You shouldn't go through the guide and just learn all of them. You know, you need to check them, see what is important for you, and next time when you need, for example, to rename the class, this class. So to rename this class, we need to rename the class in this file, then to go through the code base and rename the all places with this with this class in the code base to replace it. So for example, we have cedar. I need to replace this. Let's imagine it's test1. Yeah, test1. Then I need to find this class name everywhere through the code, and as you can see, sometimes I shouldn't change this. Good. So instead of this, let's imagine that you use a shortcut. So what we need to rename, refactor, rename. That's it. Let's do shift. In my case, it's F6. Click and rename the class. First, I need to put it into buffer, test, refactor. Cool. You can see all appearance is here. You can just do refactor, and that's it. If you try to find the same subclass somewhere, it's not there. This one shouldn't be renamed. That's it. Good. Or, for example, I would say that it's important thing to use as well. Let's go to controller pages. No, I would love to see something difficult. Or login information. Good. Let's play with this part and see what we can do. And let's try to imagine that I want to get this part of code and put into the extractor method. Whatever. What we have here, what the logic is, we are trying to find the user and type of the user. Let it be define user, whatever. Good. That's it. So that's what we have done, and you can see with just one left click button and putting a name of this method, the IDE put it into separate class method, and that's it. It's cool. No, I don't know what to say. Just to do this manual work, and that's the difference between a professional and the usual guy who just want to earn some money there. And let's finish the discussion about IDE with just one more topic there. There are plenty of things there. I can't even imagine how many of them. I know maybe 40% of capabilities of this IDE, but anyway, we have Git, and terminal. So usually I'm using terminals out of the box, but you can use a separate part. Terminal is a separate part of development, and Git. All of us know how it works. So, for example, we can use Git through the terminal, and it's pretty obvious how it works, so nothing special. And if you want to check the diff of some of these files, we need to put diff, and then just scrolling down with enter. So hard to imagine how much time I need to push this enter button. And let's go out and see how Git package works or control version works in terms of the IDE. I just click Command K, and that's it. I have a list of all my change files. I have the difference. I have different checkboxes that help me to add these changes to next commit or just remove it. Or I can override these changes. I can just push this arrow button and there is no changes anymore. This new method can be removed with this button. Or just out of this pop-up, click Command Z and roll these changes back. Isn't it cool? So it's so easy to do this. And if you want to do add in a comment just one file, just remove all checkboxes and select what you need. Or you want to roll back a changes, for example, for user seeder. Let's do this because I have done this before. Click this back button and choose files which should be rolled back. Or if you're not sure that the login API should be rolled back, you can do a double click, and that's it. That's it, a difference. Let's roll back all changes here because it's dummy data. Roll back, all changes is back. That's it. Or if you want to make a small changes or create a commit, let's add a space here. Click Command K, test commit. Good. That's it. Commit is there. We have committed. And if you want to see a difference, there is interface log. You can go be on the head of branch. You can see your changes. You can see changes of other person on the project. It doesn't matter how it works. That's pretty much it. Or if we want to do some changes here, we can do annotate as well. So we have gem file, what we have process file, annotate, and that's it. Good. Thank you guys for listening. In terms of the IDE and editor, I would say that good thing to know is what kind of terminal you're using on your machine. As I mentioned before, I have been using a terminal out of the box of the IDE for a while, but if I need to go somewhere, some SSH and do some stuff in my terminal, usually I do this through the iTerm. Why I'm not using the terminal out of macOS? Because it's difficult to read, navigate, and work with that. So usually with iTerm, you have out of the box a lot of things. So just believe me, check what it has, how it works. So and use it if you need a separate session of terminal, and it has almost the same thing as it is in the terminal out of macOS. For example, Command T, create a second tab, and I don't know, Command Shift D, divide your window, or just Command D, and it's just infinite number of windows there. I'm pretty sure the same thing can be done with usual default terminal, but the shortcuts, how it works, it's a little bit easy to work with. That's kind of it, guys. Again, thank you for watching. I hope you like this video. Please feel free to get your feedback or topic if you want to get some more details. I would love to share it with you. And please subscribe and see you around. Take care.